full instead of half empty perspective. We don't always see it right away, and we don't always know what that ultimate end reason is for some of these things that happen in life. But what we do know is that if we have faith that everything is going to be okay, and that there's maybe some crazy mixed up reason that we'll never, ever, ever know, or maybe we do, which is some of the impact that you get to see with the results of your efforts and the stories that you hear and the personal life-changing things that you guys do at MAM for some of our military. And we'll say that for the last segment. But I want you to share a little bit, Margy, with our listeners about some of these really awesome programs and the actual reach, the breadth of what's going on. I mean, when we last spoke, you guys had done the Operation Holiday Open House, which is one of your bigger flagship events. I saw you on the news. I saw it all over on advertising for it, up and coming. And the bigger one was at Luke Air Force Base. But we want to remind everybody that it wasn't just Luke, that it was statewide that you were holding these. And first time we had you on the show, I think you're around helping 1,000 families. How many families did you help this past year?
It was about 2,500.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing because the word spreads and people know, and they tell other people, and it's hysterical because the doors open up for the open house at noon, and people started standing in line at 6:30 in the morning. And one of the airmen that stood in line actually works for me now. He's out of the Air Force, and he works for me. And he said, everybody talks about it. Everybody says, you got to get there early. You got to get there early because you want to get the stuff. But they don't understand that there's a rotation of gifts. So the first one's not getting any different than the last one because we're continually rotating. But it's fun because the kids are standing in line. So we do so much stuff for the kids. Like we put chalk out, and they just draw all over the place. And that may sound simple, but kids love it. And if you go onto our website and look at the videos, you'll see the stuff that they draw and the misspellings, and it's just wonderful because it's done with love. And we have cookie decorating, and we have face painting, and we have a big fire truck that cooks and has music, and we have like the mascots from all the sporting venues, and we have a trackless train and bouncies. It's become a carnival to keep those kids entertained because they've been there since 6:30 in the morning.
Well, I know when we were talking about it, the hot chocolate and the donuts and the coffee and everything, and you're just saying, you know, if we're going to have as many people as we think, we need a lot of coffee and hot chocolate and donuts, and we need a lot of volunteers to be helping with all of that, not just facilitating the gift giving and the rotation. I think that was kind of an important point that you wanted to make, that sure, it's good to get there early, but for all the listeners that are going to maybe try to come out and attend this year, there's no difference if you get there at 6:30 or 10:30, right? Because the gifts are rotated. It's not the best gifts go early on in the morning. I think that's a very equitable way to do it, and then kind of spread it out throughout the morning and the day. So 2,500 families helped at the Operation Holiday Open House. Operation Santa Claus, which you've partnered with a very awesome local business that's been around forever, that is so philanthropic with everything they do.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. I cannot say enough about Sanderson Ford and Dave Kimmerly and Max Searston. And Jenny Kessler. I just can't say enough about them. Their heart is where it is, and there's no fakeness. It is what it is. There's no smoke and mirrors. They are truly, I don't know if you know this, but Dave served in the service. I didn't know that. And he never really talks about it. He just, like, he is what he is. He's so patriotic. And for them to do Operation Santa Claus, it's months and months in planning and stuff. And there's SARC with autism and Ronald McDonald House and St. Mary's Food Bank and MAM. We're the charities for it. And we all get the toys and we get the funds, and just to keep the mission going and to make those kids happy. And you know, Dave, it's almost Christmas for him to do this. And Max the same way. They are so proud of this, and just they're just so down to earth. They're great people. Sanderson
Ford, I grew up in Glendale. I remember my grandmother bought a Ford LTD or some sort of a big old car, and it came home and it had the Sanderson Ford paper license plate on the back and then on the front. And I remember when they take it to go get it serviced, I'd go to Sanderson Ford. Then my parents bought a car from there. And what a great locally family owned and operated company forever that has that philanthropic mind and is all in and giving back. And you mentioned a couple of the key members over there that aren't just above and beyond that and in it to sell cars and make money, because one thing that I instill in the agents at Century 21 Northwest when we're recruiting and they come on is that, if you're in it for a paycheck, you won't be in it long. And that's kind of the same thing with any sort of business, that if you're in it just for the money and the financial gain, that's only going to be short-lived. You've got to be in it for the bigger picture of paying it forward and giving back and helping where you can help because of the blessings that you've been provided and the opportunities that you've been given. You've got to always remember to give it back, and it's got to be passion and compassion and empathy for the situation and everything that you can be involved emotionally and spiritually on a positive side to try to help make a difference. And that's what some of the local companies and organizations that you've partnered with absolutely do. You've got Operation Santa Claus, Scions for Soldiers.
Yes, we gave away 3 Scions, and I have to stop because I had to do the commercial, and it took me 8 takes because I couldn't say the word
Scions for Soldiers.
I kept saying Zion. I grew up in a Zion's church and Zion's Monument Park, so it was like always, it was in my brain, and I had 8 takes to say the word Scion. It was really sad. And they kept saying, think of science, and I'm like, but no, what a great program. And we gave it to 3 service members and their families. The Scions are wrapped with digital, and they have the logos on it, and I mean, what a great program. And then the people that nominated themselves or were nominated, they each got $250 just for partaking in that. So that was really nice.
That's awesome. And we need to mention the website, azmam.org. Yeah. azmam.org. Again, azmam.org. That's where you can go and find out about all these cool events. That's where you can go and find out how to donate time, money, resources, skills that you have, volunteering, trailers and equipment for some of these events, and helping donate, helping organize, helping volunteer to get everything done. When you're helping 2,500 families in a one-day span,
it takes
Margy can't just do all of that herself. You've got dozens and dozens of volunteers and people helping out that aren't employees of MAM, or just those people that may be military men and women or their family members, or maybe just those people that want to help get out and try to support because maybe they didn't have the opportunity to sign up for the military, or maybe just didn't feel they would fit or maybe make it through, but yet we still got to have that respect and that priority to remember and be aware and be thankful and blessed that we do have the United States military, all of the branches, all of the men and women that have helped in the past and currently and in the future are going to protect our freedoms.
For the Phoenix Operation Holiday Open House, and we call it OHO for short, it takes 20 volunteers a day the week leading up to it to sort all of the items, sort all of the toys and stuff. And then the day of the event, it's about 50 volunteers. And you can't just go onto Luke Air Force Base. So you have to pre-register with us. We have to send information to Luke. You have to be able to go through their background check, and because you can't just get onto Luke Air Force Base. But it's an amazing event. It really is. The kids are so happy. And I came around the corner, and this one daughter was straddling her mom, and she put her little hands on her mom's cheeks and looked dead in the eye. And she goes, "This was my best day ever." And I just kept walking. I go, "Michael, you did it."
Michael, Margy, big man upstairs, anyone helping, volunteering with MAM, you guys are absolutely doing it. You're killing it. We got a few other really cool events coming up we're going to talk about here after the next break on the show. The 9/11 Freedom Breakfast, which is actually on September 11th. We've also got the Mighty Military Invitational, which is an awesome day out at Ben Avery Shooting Range with some of the military members coming up in October. Stay tuned. You're listening to Lifeness. Thanks. I'm here with the best mortgage guy in Arizona, Kelly McCurdy, talking about the truth and myths in short sales and foreclosures. Kelly, tell our listeners some good news.
Hey, Logan, we're so excited to announce that we can provide a client with an FHA mortgage 3 years after a foreclosure, 3 years after a short sale. And for our VA clients that proudly served our country, we can provide them with a mortgage 2 years after a short sale and 2 years after a foreclosure.
Wow, that's awesome. Give Kelly McCurdy a call, 602-615-4881. Again, 602-615-4881 to find out how and tell them Logan sent you. All right. Thank you from our sponsors. Thanks for listening to that short break. We're back in the last segment of the show, kind of the Lifeness segment of the show. But we want to discuss a few other events that we got going on. And again, you can find out all this information. They've got videos, they've got teasers, they've got testimonials, they've got photos of big, huge ear-to-ear grins from kids, from adults, men, women. The next upcoming event is the 9/11 Freedom Breakfast. Is that correct, Margy?
Yes, it's on 9/11.
On 9/11,
And it's a
over
breakfast. It's in the morning.
It's a breakfast in the morning, and it's over at Arizona Biltmore.
Yes.
And how do people get involved with that, and who's going to be there, and what's kind of the focal point of this?
Well, you have to buy a table, and then you can invite 10 of your best friends to sit at your table. Our table purchases are going to be cut off on September 4th because we have to get people's logos and we have to get the names of their guests and so forth and so on. So it's going to be September 4th that'll be cut off. But the Jim Sharp,
our good friend Jim Sharp.
Wonderful Jim Sharp, and Nicole Kreitz from Channel 3. She was with 5, now she's with 3, are emceeing, and they're on our board of directors. And Mayor Greg Stanton will be there giving an invocation. Rhonda Town, she's a country music artist. She'll be singing the national anthem. She's got a wonderful voice. And Randall Hedden, he's going to be doing 2 live paintings. And Gonzo is our speaker.
Gonzo's been
yes.
on the show. Everybody loves
he is
Gonzo,
amazing.
Luis
Yes.
Gonzalez, all the things he does to give back. I know he's very interested in helping out in anything he can, including the military events. He's just one of those solid people, just
he
like
really
yourself,
is.
and is in it for the bigger and better, greater cause of everybody else around him. So really, really awesome event.
And what we're going to do is we're going to have a panel because we want to educate the people, the public, about what is happening in Arizona for our military. So we're having R.J. Mitchell, who is a Silver Star recipient from the Marines, and he's going to be speaking about what he's seeing. Colonel Wanda Wrights from the Department of Veteran Services is going to be speaking, and Ted Voigt, who was the Chief of Operations with Governor Ducey, about what we're seeing is going on in Arizona with our military, what the needs are, and what is being done for them. So it was basically an educational event for that part. I mean, we'll have entertainment too, but it'll be educational. So
you get the 9/11 breakfast coming up, sponsorship to get a table where 10 people can come and have a good breakfast and be around and get involved with the military and their community a little bit more. Another invitational, what's called the Mighty Military Invitational, which is on Saturday, October 24th, up at the Ben Avery Clay Shooting Target Center. Tell our listeners a little bit about that. That seems like just a really, really fun event.
That is a fun event. Businesses get together and they do teams, and they go out and they shoot clay pigeons, and you are walking around and partnering with our military, because sponsorship pays for our military to participate for free. Because one of the things you need to know is we never charge our military for anything, ever. The holiday open house, back to school, nothing. Everything we give them, the grants that we give them for their finances, for food, rents, mortgage, car payments, utilities and stuff, everything is free. So the Mighty Military, we get sponsors, and that pays for the military because we supply the weapon, the eyewear, the earwear, the ammo, and food, and so that everybody gets everything for free. So if you decide you want to bring your team and come and have a morning and just shoot with our military and stuff, and I've got to say, though, our military don't shoot clay pigeons, so they don't have an advantage. So most of the time, if somebody says, I'm bringing my own 12 gauge or whatever, we know that they're shooters.
They're a shooter. Yeah. Most of the military are rifle
yes.
and pistol shoot, not so much clay shooting. They're
exactly.
not typically aiming at birds flying away from them when they're out there in the line of combat. So you've got the Mighty Military Invitational, the 9/11 Breakfast, and again, you can find all these details at azmam.org. There's really all types of awesome things that you guys do and that you give back. And through some of these events, is there one or two? I know there's lots and lots of stories, but share with our listeners, someone, a kid, a parent, or something that's come up to you during or after one of these events and maybe has a similar story to yours where they may have lost somebody, but the memory is not forgotten. The legacy continues through some other philanthropic ideas. Tell our listeners, what is it that gets Margy Bons going all day, every day. And maybe an example